Those of you on the call and on Zoom or Facebook Live, welcome to our 2021 virtual open house. This is going to be a little different than normal. Our standard open house, people come and sometime between 10 and 2 in the afternoon and visit us in person. We have booths set up. We have people on hand to talk about our area, etc. So this will be a little different, but it's also a little bit shorter. We have to cram everybody into a smaller time period because we don't want to waste people's time for 2, 3, 4 hours. Normally you would only spend about an hour or so at the squadron. So I have a video prepared, and before we get into the video, I do apologize ahead of time. I see a few issues, especially during the days of COVID. We're all having to record from our home or somewhere else. I'm not on the tarmac behind me. I am in my guest bedroom. And this background is much better than what my bedroom looks like. So videos are recorded. Sometimes I noticed our aerospace video is pretty quiet. There's actually a couple of videos that are pretty quiet, and that's just because people were pretty far away from their camera when they were recording. So there's no way to really bump the whole thing up, and you'll just have to, when you get to that section, I know at least for our aerospace officer and one of our cadets, you're going to have to turn the volume up a little bit, and there's nothing else I can do. Let's see here. I'm going to get ready, and Captain Lechuga is our squadron commander, and I'm going to ask him to come on and give his spiel about our squadron before we roll into the video. At the end, I'll let you know there is a question and answer period, so don't disappear. If something bores you or whatever, stay around. And at the end, it's about a 43-minute long video. So roughly 45 minutes past the hour, we will go into question and answer period. So if you are available, Commander, I don't see a video for you. There it comes.
Okay.
See if I can make you our main presenter. Spotlight. There you are, sir. Everyone can see you now.
All right. Well, I want to say welcome. My name is Captain Joe Lechuga. I'm the squadron commander of Squadron 50 Civil Air Patrol here at the Modesto Airport. If you're new, if you're not one of our members, you probably have not heard of Civil Air Patrol before. So we're really happy you're here so we can tell you about our great organization. Now, I myself started in Civil Air Patrol when I was in high school as a cadet. At 15, I earned my first aid card and my first aid instructor's card. I also learned how to operate our radios in Civil Air Patrol, and that led me to participate when I was 15, 16 in search and rescue missions using those radios. The skills and knowledge that I've learned as a cadet helped me immensely in my pursuit of a college degree in radio broadcasting and later in my 20 years of radio broadcasting career. Right, those skills also were of great use to me when I joined the Army National Guard as a medic, and I spent 24 years serving as a medical NCO. What I learned as a cadet in Civil Air Patrol followed me through my military career, it followed me through my broadcasting career, and now in my medical career as a physician assistant, a PA. And I want to tell you, I had a lot of fun learning those skills in Civil Air Patrol. So today you're going to meet some of our former members who are going to tell you what they've done with their CAP training. You'll also see some of our current squadron members who will present a variety of events and opportunities that our squadron has available. Your host for this event, as you met, is Major John Domke, who is our Squadron Deputy Commander for Cadets. And at the end of the presentation, there'll be time for you to ask questions, and we can answer some questions you may have on anything that we've shown you today. So again, I want to say we're glad you chose to be here to find out about this fine youth organization that has been around since 1941. Okay. So I welcome you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Get back into me. There we are. Hopefully everybody can see and hear me. Good. All right, I see head shaking. Fantastic. I'm going to start the video, and I will let you know that I have out a lot of stuff, a lot of me especially. Unfortunately, I'm a talker. I thought for sure I was going way too fast, and in the end, it was way too long. So I did have to cut some things out. We had some fantastic testimonials. I was amazed. I contacted a lot of our former cadets and asked them if they could please share a video, or in one case, a slideshow presentation with them narrating it in the background. And they sent me all this stuff, and it was just way too much to put into the video. I've had one of our cadets' mom did a fantastic 5-minute long testimonial. And unfortunately, I had to put it on our YouTube channel. So we do have a YouTube channel. I will share that playlist at the end. We have, I think, roughly 10 or 12 testimonials on there, or stories of how Civil Air Patrol helped them in their lives, or how watch their children develop through Civil Air Patrol. Myself being a parent, I actually haven't put my own video up there yet. It's pretty embarrassing. But anyhow, there are some really great videos. Some of them are legends in the squadron. I talk about them to our cadets all the time. I finally got one of my most earliest cadets, who's an Air Force pilot, to finally do a video for me after bugging him for more than 8 or 10 years. And he finally did it. And even my own daughter has been rather lazy about it as well. And after many years of bugging her, she finally did it. So there's some really good stuff on there. But some of it I had to obviously cut for time. We can only have a couple of our testimonials on, and a couple of our current cadets and their staff. So I apologize if you didn't get in there or if something got cut, but I promise you it is on our testimonial channel, which I will paste in the end. I also have material that I'll also try to find some way to share it with everybody at the end of this. So here we go. And hopefully we get audio this time, because I don't see a feature. Yeah, there it is. You know what? It's just like Zoom. I'm an idiot. There's a checkbox that says share sound. You'd think after having done this several times, I'd know what I was doing. And here we go.
Hello, welcome to Squadron 50's virtual open house, Modesto, California. My name is First Lieutenant Mark Day, and I'm here to give you a short testimony on why my son and myself joined Civil Air Patrol. We joined Civil Air Patrol in 2017 after we heard about Civil Air Patrol from a friend. We were at an event, and we were talking, and they mentioned how they had just returned from a trip from Southern California, and they were super excited because they got to ride on helicopters. And I'd never heard of such a thing before, where you could get to fly on military helicopters. So I inquired with him how that was happening. He says, well, Civil Air Patrol is in Modesto, California. It's an Air Force auxiliary program, and they teach cadets how to fly. They teach cadets emergency services, aerospace, character development, leadership. And I thought that sounded really interesting. And as a young man, my son at 15, going through the normal challenges of a teenager of his age, I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to do something together. So we decided to join. And it's been a great adventure ever since, for him and for me both. Because we were going to be there for an hour and a half once a week, I decided that I should get in and see if I could help in any way. So I offered my help, and they took it gladly. And since then, I've done many things with the squadron. One of my most fun things right now is emergency services and communications. But I've done also other duty functions and different jobs as well. And you learn a lot about the program in each aspect of the program. They have a transportation section, an aerospace section, cadet programs, emergency services, and communications, and that's what I'm doing now. Is I'm a communications officer and emergency service officer. So what emergency services does is we coordinate training for the wing and for our squadron, for our cadets and senior members in different areas. So we would coordinate areas for flight and air operations. We would do ground operations. So what we do is we train the cadets and senior members out in the field on different types of tasks that are required for training to make sure members are safe and well trained. And we help initiate these missions and complete them. And when we're called to service on real missions, that we're ready to go and willing and able to help. We've done a lot of things since 2017, from fires to COVID, as well as staying on top of our training. So emergency services is a great program for men and their sons or men and their daughters to get involved with if they enjoy being in the outdoors and the high adventure of learning new things. The other part I'm really interested in right now is communications. And as a communications officer, it's all tied together with emergency services. And our job as a communications officer is point-to-point contact for assets in the field, for aircraft, for ground teams, and also being a mission-based radio operator. And anybody can do these positions, and we encourage all members to get fully trained in all these things so that they know how to use radios. One of the things communications officers do is, and what Civil Air Patrol's mission is to provide constant communication for outside agencies during search and rescue missions, fires, and or if communication system fails, we have radio repeaters, high frequency radios that we can communicate across the globe with. So we assist the federal government and California OES and many other agencies with these communication aspects. So those are just some of the reasons why we joined Civil Air Patrol. There's a huge list. There's a lot of activities that we've been involved in, and it's all been a very rewarding experience. And I would encourage you, if you have young men and women that are interested in joining, this is a great opportunity to show them many different career paths down the road and provide them with scholarships possibly and sponsorships to get into these programs. So don't hesitate to get more information. Contact Major Domke at the end of this virtual open house, and he would be happy to give you more information. Thank you for coming.
My name is Lieutenant Frederick Van Ostende. I am the Aerospace Officer for Squadron 50. Welcome to our virtual open house. I teach aerospace, and this is what I do. In aerospace education, we talk about airports, we talk about flying, we talk about our planet a little bit, we talk about airplanes and how they work. I also teach rocketry. So, want to know how an airplane works? It's not just throwing a glider. We talk about aerodynamics. We talk about the airfoil. We talk about the fuselage. We talk about the rudder and all the flaps that go on an airplane. We talk about rocketry and how the rocket motors work. We talk about what the fins do, the purpose of the nose cone, and all the aerodynamic forces that work upon that rocket. Okay, we build small rockets, and we build rockets that are bigger than like this. We start off with basic rocketry, and this is one of our advanced rocket kits. I will now demonstrate one of the bigger rockets that we will build if you pass basic rocketry. We can fly up to a G motor, unlicensed. I am a licensed rocketeer. I have my level 3 certification, which means I can fly a lot bigger rockets than this. Come and learn with us. This is what we do. And if you like aerospace, I'm happy to teach all of you. So without further ado, let's launch a rocket. 3, 2, 1. And that's how it's done.
Okay, well, I'm back here again. Once again, if you missed me before, I don't know how you did. I am Major John Domke. I have been in Civil Air Patrol for going on 20 years, 6 years as a cadet, and 14 years as an adult member as of this year. Very proud of my service to Civil Air Patrol and when I served in the Air Force, how much it benefited me. So we're going to talk about the cadet program. Most of you are here because of the cadet program. I know there are people here not, but hey, it's a good experience to learn about it, because even if you're in the program as an adult and don't have a kid in the program and aren't helping out in the cadet program, you are definitely going to work side by side with them at some point. So it's probably a good idea to figure out exactly what it is that the cadet program is about. So the cadet program, Civil Air Patrol has 3 components. If you haven't seen it, there's emergency services, there's the aerospace program, and then there's the cadet program. The cadet program is designed for young people ages 12 to 18. You can join all the way up until your 19th birthday. If you are 19 and older, you have to join as an adult member. As an 18-year-old, you have the choice. You can join as an adult member or a cadet. It's really up to you. But if you're in the program and still, if you join as a cadet and by the time you turn 19, you're a cadet, you can stay until you turn 21 years old. This allows you to continue on as maybe you go off to local junior college, you start some work, whatever it is you do. Even if you go into the military, you can still stay in Civil Air Patrol as a member. And some people do that, especially the cadets who have been in for a long time and they're trying to achieve higher awards. And you have to wait. It just takes a long time to do it. So we have cadets who are in college who are still in Civil Air Patrol, and they're still active, and then they're working towards their higher promotions. We have a cadet right now who's almost the highest you can get. She'll be our first cadet to get a SPOTS award, and the SPOTS award is the highest you can get as a cadet. It's like 1 in 10,000 or more cadets even ever get the SPOTS award. So it's an amazing achievement. I believe at this time there's less than 2,000 who have ever received it, and it's been going on since the 60s. So we're excited to see that with her as she's come through the program, and she's been a really good success story as well. Hopefully I can get a video from her. If not, someday at some point we will talk in the future and I will share her story as well. If I had to share every story about every one of my cadets, we would be on here for 10 hours. I'm very proud of them. But the cadet program is designed for young people. It is not meant to be a lead up to going into the military. Yes, we are part of the Air Force. We're part of the total force. We are the auxiliary, the 4th component of the Air Force. However, we're not a recruiting component. The idea of the cadet program is to create vibrant young people coming out of the program that are successful in whatever area they go into. Now, some of our people do go in the military, an average of about 10%, 5 to 10% actually join the military or go off to the Air Force Academy or whatever academy they end up at. So I don't want you to think that we're here to recruit people for the military. I'm not a recruiter. We have recruiters come in on occasion, and they're not there to sign people up. They're there to present different jobs that are available in the military. So the Civil Air Patrol, the cadet program, here's what it entails. We have a leadership component. This is where the Air Force comes in, where we're teaching people how to become leaders, future leaders of our country, future leaders of whatever it is they go to, their own business, another business, college, military, whatever it is, we're teaching them to become leaders of themselves. And if they're successful, then we're going to teach them how to be leaders of other people. Now, this is a great program because the materials that they get on leadership are definitely out of the college level. They begin at a lower level, but once they get higher into the supervisory role, they're getting materials that are in college. I know I have a degree in business, And this material, I'm looking at it, and it's in my textbooks in college, and you've got 14, 15-year-olds learning this stuff at such a young age, which is such a great experience. There's nothing out there. I guarantee you there's no other program out there in the world that's like Civil Air Patrol. Even other organizations like us that are run by the military or so, like Young Marines and the Sea Cadets, they do not have this program. I know, I've looked at what they do, and it's not us. Even junior ROTC in the high schools, it does not do what we do. So this program will help you become something different than you are, or achieve success in your life, either by just becoming a responsible person for yourself, taking care of yourself, and then also being respectful to other people, but then learning whether maybe you're not meant to be a leader of other people, which is fantastic. You don't have to be in charge of people, but you can always have that leadership ability no matter where you go. And I tell you, it's challenging sometimes for me. I know with my daughter, she's gone to different jobs, and they want to immediately put her in a management training program. I've done the same thing over my life, where I've gotten a job, and very soon after, they're trying to put me into being a manager. And I've done it, I've been there, and I'm happy to not manage people anymore. I have my cadets, I have my senior members that I work with. That's enough for me. I don't need all the other stuff, but I know that I am a leader, and I've become a leader because of Civil Air Patrol. There's no other influence in my life that I can look back to that has made me the leader that I am today. It's definitely Civil Air Patrol. So when I talk about the leadership component of the cadet program, understand that this is a really important aspect in their life. Even if they're only in for a year or two, this will benefit you. I may put on, I've got a testimonial from one of our former cadets. He joined us in December of his senior year. He didn't know who we were until then, and he was so disappointed, and so was his dad, that they hadn't ever heard of us before. And then we're not hiding from anybody, but it's just one of those things you don't normally see us. Anyhow, the great thing was he did a testimonial after only being in CAP for 5 months. He went off to, I think it was Long Beach State or UC Long Beach or whatever it is down there, and working on his degree. And he did a video for us just saying how much he learned in just a short amount of time in CAP, and how thankful he was. And even his dad did a video for me as well. And it's great. It's great to see that in 5 months' time, how it affected somebody. So imagine if you join at age 12 and can do it for 6 years like I did, and other cadets I've got that have done it until they turn 21. We have a few members right now that are adults, senior members like myself, who were my cadets. They went through the program and they ended up at 21, and they transitioned to being a senior member. And they're amazing because they know this program inside and out. They've been there like I have, and they understand the cadet program. So there are a lot of great people that are out there that have done this before. We've got a member who was a cadet. He went to college and got his degree. Then he came back as a senior member, waiting to be commissioned in the Air Force. It takes a while for some people. And after a couple of years, he finally received his commission, and he's off in the Air Force doing something right now that he can't really even probably tell us about. It's something top secret, dealing with drones or something. I don't know. And he told me at one point, and it's confusing trying to figure it out. So the cadet program has the leadership component. We also teach aerospace. We have an aerospace component where we explore aerospace and aviation careers. We learn about aviation and aerospace and the importance that it has to our society and the world in the future. And we're watching things as it comes about, as we start putting missiles, or we start putting, rockets back up into space with human beings on them, like we just did recently. And that was done by a private. That was SpaceX. But they're looking to put people back on the moon. They're looking to go to Mars with people. And these are possibilities not for my generation, but I'll hopefully be able to see it happen on the TV. And hopefully those are some of my cadets that are part of that program. And I look forward to seeing that, because there is a lot of careers available for aerospace and aviation. They pay very well. Some of them don't require a 4-year degree. Some just require technical school. One of our former cadets, who's a senior member right now, is going to aircraft school, aircraft maintenance and whatnot. It's A&P, it's what it's called. And he's learning that right now. He's already got a private pilot license, and he's working towards a career in aircraft maintenance. And good for him. And so That's our aerospace aviation side. You'll hear, you've already heard the video from our aerospace officer at this point, where he is really into rockets. So his nickname is the Rocket Man. And he loves rockets. His rockets that he launches are somewhere 7-8 feet tall. They're huge. And he launches them from his own property. And he also goes to competitions and other expositions and shows that off. And our kids love it. And he's gotten us to explore larger size rockets as well. Normally with Civil Air Patrol, they just launch small little rockets. And now they're launching rockets that are 3 feet tall. So it's really cool. So that's the aerospace component. The next component is our physical fitness component, which may not sound very exciting. However, Civil Air Patrol, being part of the Air Force, and wants us to be more physically fit. Now, it doesn't mean everybody needs to, be Arnold Schwarzenegger and be the strongest person in the world, but we do want people to be successful in a fitness program that works for them based upon their body and their lifestyle. So everybody, when they start off, they get like a baseline. So they run the mile, they do push-ups and sit-ups, etc. And they don't have to pass any particular test, but it sets a level of where they started. And as they continue on in Civil Air Patrol, every month we do PT, the scores are added in, and they can go online and they can see it. They can also set goals for themselves and make hopefully better decisions in their lifestyle and work towards improving their mile. I know as a cadet, when I did this, the worst thing I did was I hated the run. I hate running the mile, especially in Michigan in the wintertime. There was nothing indoors. We had to run outside. It was horrible, but I did it. I did it because I needed to promote, for one, and it wasn't that bad. I was surprised at the way I was able to run, how fast I was able to get to, because when I went in the Air Force, it certainly helped me out. The other component we have in the cadet program is character development. This is something very important to the Air Force. They feel that they watch people even joining the Air Force Academy as they come in, that they are they're not good with their character. They have never received the training about having good moral values in their lives. Either it was just missed at home or whatever. So they made a big effort a few years ago to improve our cadet program and the character development. The curriculum was all designed and written and tested with the Air Force Academy. They use it there, and we're using it in our squadron as well. I'm the character development instructor, and we work on different values every month. It could be anything from dealing with racial discrimination, physical discrimination, dealing with people that are cheating, dealing with people who are thinking of possibly killing themselves. And these are tough topics sometimes, but they're topics that these teenagers, they deal with every single day in school, and maybe not so much virtual, but maybe virtual. I don't know. But we're trying to give them the values that they need in their life to make better decisions, and it'll improve themselves and help other people as well. And this is how we want them to go. We want them to go off into the world and be better, dynamic individuals, not just people who get by, but people who are successful and help others as well. And we want them to do that. We also explore emergency services with our cadets. Once a month, we do emergency services training. We have activities where we go to, where you can climb mountains and go do search and rescue outside, etc. But those are our regular meetings of the program. I'm looking also our activities that we do. Well, right now, because of COVID, we're not doing a whole lot, but normally our activities include going camping, doing emergency services training, doing search and rescue, survival skills. It's fun to do. I've been there, I've done it. We start off at a really low level locally at a local campground, and then we head off into the mountains for more advanced training up to 8,000 feet, and even have done a snow exercise where they camped in the snow over the weekend and had to learn to survive in the snow. Other activities include going to museums. We visit aerospace museums over in the Bay Area and learn about all the different helicopters that came out of Hiller. And also we get to go hang out in the 747, and there's flight simulators that they get to do as well. Other activities would be the USS Hornet, which is an overnight activity at an aircraft carrier from World War II. We spend the night, we actually spend the day doing help out around. We're helping to clean the ship and doing stuff like that. And then we have private tours. We sleep in the bunks, and then we stay overnight and help in the morning and raise the flag at Reveille. So we get to do that community service activity every year, and it's one of our most exciting and favorite activities from our cadets. We have other activities that are going on all the time. Sometimes they come up out of the blue. They're not a normal, regularly scheduled activity. A lot of stuff has to deal with STEM these days, model rocketry, unmanned aircraft, drones, that kind of stuff. You never know what's going to come up. There's also an activity in the summer called encampment. Encampment is kind of like a mini 8-day boot camp, Civil Air Patrol style. This is not yelling, hollering, screaming in your face. The Air Force doesn't even do that anymore. But it is challenging you to become a better individual and to stay on target. And it's not easy, but the cadets go, and they're encouraged to go in their first year. I would say if they're 13 and older, definitely need to go to encampment. Talk to other cadets who have been there. They'll tell you what a great experience it was. Yes, it was horrible in the beginning, but in the end, you've made friends that'll last a lifetime sometimes. I'm still friends. I went to encampment in 1984, and I'm still friends with one of the cadets that were in my flight. He's stayed in Civil Air Patrol. He's been in Civil Air Patrol for 40-something years. He became the Michigan Wing Commander at one time. So it's great to hear from him and see how successful he was, because I remember him as a cadet in our flight, and he wasn't that good. So obviously it helped, it panned out for him. If you do the encampment, that's a gateway to becoming an officer and also going on to these big summer activities that they hold nationwide. There's summer activities that are learning how to fly planes, learning about engineering, you name it. There are so many different opportunities in the summer to go to Space Command, stuff like that. And go off and do these activities, but you have to have done encampment before you do that. So there are weekly commitments as a cadet, unlike the senior members that don't have to come every week. Cadets are expected to come to every meeting. Meetings are every Thursday from 6:30 until 9 o'clock. Even virtually, our meetings are still at 6:30, and we don't always go till 9 o'clock because it's virtual. There's not as much interaction as there normally would be, but we do have that scheduled, and we do have things that are going on. If you can't come, obviously, to a meeting, it's just like having a job. You have to notify your supervisor that you won't be there, and you'll learn soon when you get in that there's a chain of command, just like having a regular job, and you'll know who your flight sergeant is, which is your supervisor, and that's who you're expected to notify if you can't make it in. So that's our commitments. We also have activities that you need to go to. You're expected to go to activities, and obviously your family and your church and et cetera come first. But we want to help you make that an important priority in your life, to do as much as you can in Civil Air Patrol, because not every opportunity repeats itself, and not everything that we teach every week is taught again. So by coming every week and committing yourself to the program, when you join up, you're committing yourself to a 1 year in the program. And we expect you during that year to come as often as you possibly can. The cadets who come more often are the ones who are more successful. The cadets who only come every once in a while are not successful, and they end up leaving the program. And I hate to see that happen, because if they had just come to more meetings, they wouldn't think it was boring. And sometimes it's boring when you just come once in a while, because you're not really getting the whole program, and you're not promoting, you're not going into more opportunities, more different jobs that you could have, because you're not doing anything. So I encourage them to keep going. There's summer activities, monthly activities, and then the last thing to talk about is our current situation with COVID. COVID-19 has definitely presented a lot of challenges for Civil Air Patrol on top of everybody else. We're not just governed by the laws of the state of California for public assembly. We're also governed by the Air Force and Civil Air Patrol. So even though a county, the numbers may come down, it doesn't matter. It still is. We're part of a group, and it's based upon the numbers in the entire group. And those numbers are set by Civil Air Patrol and by the Air Force, et cetera. So what we're hoping for is obviously COVID to start trickling away, and the faster, the better. We've been meeting virtually since last March, and we're still successful. We still have cadets in the program that are very successful. You're going to see some videos from them. But we're hoping that, hopefully by May, we're back together. The way they're going to stagger it is once the numbers start getting lower, they'll start allowing us to meet in groups of 10 or less. Now, our building, even though you're not seeing it in person, we have a couple of different areas, indoors and outdoors. And the rule about assembly of 10, we can have 10 in one area and 10 in another, as long as they don't, interact with each other. We can meet in smaller groups. And as the numbers get better, then we'll go down to 50 or less. And that'll basically be everybody at that point. So just keep hoping that the numbers get better, that people continue to social distance, wear their masks, and the immunizations start getting spread out wide. So that's our current situation. I wish I could say it was better, but we have had cadets who joined right as COVID hit, and we've had more join since then who have never actually been into the squadron except to pick up some uniforms. They've done everything virtually for the last 6 months. So it is possible. If you're thinking of joining Civil Air Patrol, what I would tell you is don't wait. Our next opportunity to join as a cadet is next week, Thursday, at Cadet Great Start. I would encourage you to come. You have to come to 3 meetings before you can join anyhow. Come to 3 of the Cadet Great Start meetings, see if it's for you, and then also don't make it a problem because of COVID. Don't make COVID your excuse, because what will happen is by the time you can come back again, which will be either May or September, if you wait till September, you've missed out on 6 months of Civil Air Patrol and all the activities that happened in the meantime and all that training. And everybody that joined in February of this year will be ahead of you, and they'll always be ahead of you. You'll be playing catch up. So I really encourage you to, if this is the time for you to join and you want to do this, do not wait because of something like COVID or make excuses because of COVID. Join and become a member as soon as you can. As soon as you turn age 12 or whenever you're able to, that's what I hope you will do. And again, thank you for coming. And in case I didn't say it before, I'm the Deputy Commander for Cadets. I run the cadet program and I report to the commander and let him know how the cadets are doing. It's the biggest part of our squadron. It's very challenging, but I think because of my experience as a cadet and all the training I've received as a senior member, it makes me successful in helping our cadets become successful, which, as I said, that is my paycheck. And I enjoy getting paid every day by watching our cadets succeed in their life. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next week, Thursday, at the Cadet Great Start virtual.
I'm Cadet Captain Nicholas Usoma, and I'm the Cadet Commander here at the squadron. Through my life in the Civil Air Patrol, I've seen many of the cadets go on to achieve great things in their life, such as college, Air Force, careers in the military, air traffic control, weather, everything like that. And I hope after you are done here, visiting here today, that you too will see a great career possibilities that the Civil Air Patrol offers. When I joined the Civil Air Patrol, I did not know what I wanted to do with my life. I came to the squadron for the first meeting and I thought, I'm never going to do well in this. But as I came more and more, I learned that there are people here to help you promote, help you understand what the classes are teaching, etc. Now, I command over 30 cadets. Through my Civil Air Patrol career, I've had many jobs, many consisting of teaching other cadets to do what I'm supposed to do, or what I'm doing currently. Some of those jobs have included aerospace instructor, flight sergeant, flight commander, which have included teaching cadets how to drill, how to sound off, and disciplines such as time management. In my Civil Air Patrol career, I have had many jobs, many of those jobs being teaching cadets important aspects of the military life, such as time management, communication, discipline, drill, everything that comes along with that. And also, outside of the squadron, there are many opportunities that you have to learn this stuff, such as Non-Commissioned Officer School, which is a program that lets you teach other cadets while implementing these skills of time management, communication, etc. Civil Air Patrol has many things to offer you. They have instructors, classes, many people who have former military experience who can teach you things such as communication, discipline, drill, everything of that sort. And you have these schools, basically, that can teach you all of these things, such as Non-Commissioned Officer School, which is for sergeants of our of our program, where you go for a weekend and you have a team that you teach and you help teach, and you switch roles throughout the weekend. Believe it or not, I was a terrible public speaker before this, but after I went to NCOS, I learned how to do public speaking, impromptu speaking, everything of that sort. And then there's things at the higher level, such as Cadet Basic Officers course. That's offered every other year, and it's for officers such as myself to go to, and it's like a mini college for a week. And you have to communicate with your other fellow officers. You have to go to classes. You have to make sure you're on classes on time. They don't make you go to the classes, but if you do not go to a certain amount of classes, you don't pass at the end of the week. So it's all up to you. It's up to you whether you do, whether you get to that class on time, whether you communicate with your fellow cadets to get that assignment done. So it's truly an amazing experience, and that helps you with your further career. When I started the Civil Air Patrol, I didn't really know what I was going to do in my life. But through the years, I developed a great interest in the military academies, especially the Air Force Academy. Now, once you do the application process to the Air Force Academy, it lets you choose if you've been into done career programs such as NJRTC or Air Force RTC or the Civil Air Patrol. Now, there's data that says cadets who have been in the Civil Air Patrol and have promoted to higher ranks have a better shot of getting into the Air Force Academy. And hopefully that is the case with myself. I am waiting for the results, but I have talked to a lot of people at these military academy nights that I've gone to that we as a squadron actually helped put on. Being in the Civil Air Patrol is a great helper when it comes to applications to the Air Force Academy. As I finish here today, I would like to offer you the benefits of the Civil Air Patrol. If you promote to officer in the Civil Air Patrol, which takes roughly 2.5 years, you will be eligible, if you choose to enlist in the military afterwards, or in the Air Force that is, to come out as an Airman First Class and have 2 stripes, which is way ahead of the game. You'll have a higher pay grade, higher job, you'll get a better job, etc. So that's one thing to think about. Also, you'll have better chances of getting into colleges because you'll be able to work on resumes, cover letters, have all these job experiences that you'll have through the Civil Air Patrol. So all of these opportunities brought to you by the Civil Air Patrol. I would like to thank you for joining us today, and I hope you have taken a lot out from all the instructors and all the presenters that we had here today, and I hope to see you this upcoming Thursday at our Cadet Great Start program. Thank you.
First Sergeant Corkwell. As a First Sergeant, I am in charge of all cadets who are under the rank of Lieutenant. That is Airman Basic to Cadet Chief Master Sergeant. I joined when I was 12, and the next year I was in charge as a flight sergeant. I was in charge of about 15 cadets. During COVID, I served in the food bank missions all around California, and I served at the Manteca Food Bank, serving boxes to people who needed them of obviously food. For that, I received the Disaster Relief Ribbon with the V device, meaning that it was presidentially declared. I enjoy doing the emergency services missions and search and rescue exercises because of the camaraderie with the emergency services members that you get. We have truly become a ES family, and we have shared many fun experiences. We have gone camping in the snow up at Pinecrest, and we have learned how to survive on our own if we have to during all sorts of weather and storms.
Hello, I'm Cadet Master Sergeant Lane. When I joined Civil Air Patrol, I heard about it from some friends of mine and family members. I joined because I saw the leadership skills that I learned in aerospace. A place I see myself in the future with Civil Air Patrol is definitely as far as I can get. It's definitely changed to the way I am, like especially with integrity. I learned a lot. And I also learned about respect. Not saying that I was a bad kid, but I did learn a lot. Some of my favorite activities in Civil Air Patrol are aerospace and the O-rides. In aerospace, I got to do model rocketry, which I love. It's super fun, and then I also got to do orientation rides, where I actually got to fly the airplane. Really liked NCOS, on commission officer school. I got to learn a lot about being a flight sergeant and an NCO. NCO, you're like the supervisor or the leader of a group, and you're carrying out the mission. There's also a lot of things you can learn for the real world. Like, for example, I have to do a resume. Whenever I want to get a job that I have to fill out a resume, and then I also have to do a cover letter, which is basically me saying what I'm going to do in this job and why I'm going to be in this job. So if, say I don't go to the military, if I'm trying to get a job, I know how to fill out a resume, and I also know how to be interviewed.
Hello, my name is Noah Daniels, and I'm a Master Sergeant of Civil Air Patrol. I joined this organization because I thought it would improve my leadership skills or just improve myself overall. But I did not expect there are way more opportunities than I thought. For example, we go to the Hornet and spend a night there. We go to encampment. We launch rockets. We even do general emergency services training. In Civil Air Patrol, we also volunteer for the food bank, where we give food to families who need it, so they can feed themselves, feed their children, or just feed anyone in the family that need it. In this organization, you'll learn a lot of things. You'll even learn something every day. You will even get opportunities you won't get anywhere else. Like how you can go on overrides. You get to go sit in the co-pilot seat of a plane, and you look over the world, and you get to see breathtaking views. And everything you learn is important to yourself, or just in general to prepare you for the military, or just anything.
Hey, I'm Cadet Airman Morales. I found out about CAP through my research. What first interested me the most about the squadron was the planes. Being in CAP with COVID has affected me because I was unable to meet people in person, and everything's online, so I had to learn drill online. I had to do everything online, so I think responsibility has benefited me the most in CAP.
Hi, my name is Jory Velichka, maiden name Domke. I was in Civil Air Patrol in Squadron 72 and Squadron 50 in the California Wing from age 12 to age 19. I achieved my Amelia Earhart Award, and during my time in the Civil Air Patrol, I attended several different National Cadet Special Activities. I went to glider school when I was 14 years old, shortly after receiving my Mitchell, and I went to the Air Force Space Command Familiarization course. When I started in Civil Air Patrol at 12, I was painfully shy and desperately wanted to be an astronaut. In my time at Civil Air Patrol, I learned a lot about leadership skills, working with people, management skills that have followed me into my life now. A lot of other programs that teenagers have access to, they don't have any sort of agency. In Civil Air Patrol, you are expected to be responsible for the things that you're responsible for. You're expected to be responsible for the people you're responsible for. And it is a really incredible experience to be a teenager who is not being treated like a little kid. And that was something that really made a big difference in the way that I carried myself and the way that I still carry myself. Whether you are interested in the military or not doesn't matter. Whether you are interested in flight or not doesn't really matter. There's a lot that you can get out of this program either way.
Hello, my name is Raymond Martinez. I'm a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force, completing my RPA pilot training here at Randolph Air Force Base, and here's my testimonial about the Civil Air Patrol. The Civil Air Patrol is a great organization. I highly recommend it, either joining in the cadet side or the adult side. I've had the opportunity to participate in both the cadet side and the adult side, and to say the least, it helped me benefit from the training and everything that I've learned and participated in the program. It helped me transition from the civilian world to the active duty world of the military, but also just having the opportunity to gain all these experiences and opportunity to hone my leadership skills or even gain new leadership skills in an environment that I feel free to like experiment and try and figure out about myself. And it's a program that for me, I have so much fond memories about the program, especially meeting new people, traveling to new places, learning how to fly, and then just applying my passion for aviation and just traveling around, going to air shows, learning about aerospace education, and just having the opportunity to help out in my community as well. So I hope you think about joining the Silver Patrol and check out the GoSilverPatrol.com website. Thank you and have a nice day.
All right, so welcome back, and hopefully that wasn't that boring for you. I tried to make it as lively as possible. Sometimes I had to merge a bunch of video together to get rid of some of the gaps. And this is, like I said, I'm looking right now. I just put in our chat there, I put the link to our YouTube playlist of just the testimonials. And I've got 13 videos in there right now, and more are coming during this meeting we had just now. I've already had 2 people message me saying they're sorry they didn't get one to me in time, but they're going to send one over to me. And a lot of these are brand new. It looks like probably about most of these are brand new testimonials. A bunch of them are former cadets. Some of them are parents. Some are former cadets and still active duty Air Force and still active members of our squadron or another squadron. So it's great to see that Civil Air Patrol works well for other people. And like it did for myself, my biggest regret is not staying in after I graduated high school and went into the Air Force. I waited some 21 years before my daughter reminded me about it, and got back in the program almost begrudgingly. I didn't want to do what I'm doing now because it looked like too much work. I didn't realize the challenge, and also didn't realize the rewards that I was going to get. And that's the biggest thing. And as our senior members, our adult members talk, they get rewarded by not paychecks, but by watching our young people succeed in life and go on to some really great things, whether it's the military or not. They're all doing something, and then they're being successful in whatever they do. And no matter what, the skills that they learned as a cadet will follow them the rest of their lives. So that's all I have to say. We can open it up to questions and answers. I see at least a couple of people guess. I muted everybody, but I left the option available where you can unmute yourself. So feel free if you want to turn your camera on. I turned everybody's camera off just because I was hearing complaints that it looked like a Godzilla movie and people's lips weren't moving. It looks fine in my end, but of course I'm the one broadcasting it, and everything looks good over here until it crashed on me for whatever reason. But anyhow, feel free, type in your message in the chat. The chat's open, or unmute yourself and ask questions. The more questions, the better. Even if you're a current member, stump the major. How about that one? That's always a good. I don't know everything, but I try to know as much as I can. And what I don't know, I will find out. I see Lieutenant Day is coming on.
Major, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Did you mention CPC with the first ever United States virtual cadet programs conference on a gaming platform that looks like something out of some futuristic high-tech game?
I did mention it in one of those 2 videos I had to cut, but And actually, I wanted to share that too, because one of the parents was thinking about not coming because we're doing it virtual, and her kid doesn't want to do this virtual. And I just, I don't know, how do I reach people and explain to them that if it's so horrid, why do we have 30 cadets still in the program doing it? And a lot of them are being successful in it. Not everybody's been successful because of COVID, obviously, but it's definitely posed a challenge. But where in our lives, for us adults, where in our lives have we not faced challenges and had to overcome it? This is just one thing you had to overcome. And the Cadet Program Conference is an annual event. It happens in Camp San Luis Obispo. It happens over a 4-day weekend. It's always President's Day weekend, Friday night to Monday morning. It is a completely cadet-run operation. The cadets organize it. They come up with the classes, and then they come up with instructors. And in some cases, if it's new, they have to come up with material. And then it gets passed over to the adults that are overseeing it and approved. Then it goes on, and the cadets come. And every year, this thing sells out. This is not a free activity. I wish it was. It's not free because it's on a military base that we have to pay to use. There's food costs, etc. But considering everything that you get, it's kind of like it's a conference, obviously, like it sounds, but it's a conference for young people, run by young people. And there may not be, it may be an instructor who's there, who's an adult, maybe it's an Air Force person or Air Academy or whatever. But either way, a young person is the one who organized it and got it going. Now, normally it's held at Camp San Luis Obispo on Saturday and Sunday. You have 8 different sessions that you can sign up for. A lot of these sessions are very limited in class size because we're on a base and the rooms that we get only hold 25, 30 people, and sometimes only 10 or 15. So you may find yourself not being able to take the class that you wanted to take and missing out on it. And I know I've been there before many times, and I've missed out on things because I want to go to so many different things. I have them all highlighted, but you just can't be in 3 places at once. It's disappointing as an adult, and I'm sure it's disappointing for our young folks. This year being a challenge with virtual, instead of just saying, forget it, we're not going to do it, they've decided they're going to do a virtual cadet program conference. It is obviously online. There is still a cost to it because there's a cost because there are costs. They're mailing out materials to people, and also the platform they're having to use. It's an amazing platform. It's designed for, for us older folks, I definitely like looking at it as well, but some things aren't as appealing to me because that's not my age group. But there's definitely the same kind of camaraderie where you get to chat with other people as you walk through this neighborhood or whatever, the campus, as your emoji, your little person. As you get near other people and you have a microphone and a headset, you can talk with them. So it's like being there in person. And there's all these different activities you can go to. And the great thing is they're not limited by class size. As many that want to go can go. There are colleges, trade schools, etc., that are there to talk about what programs they offer and to answer your questions. There's military that will be there, obviously, answering questions. There are people there that are astronauts, NASA astronauts, test pilots in the NASA program that you can talk with. The list goes on, and there is an amazing number of speakers. I think that's part of what makes this such a unique opportunity this year, is because so many people that would normally not be able to come are able to now because it's virtual. Instead of having to get on a plane and flying from Washington, D.C. or wherever they're at and staying overnight in a hotel or whatever, and the cost involved with that, now they just do it virtually from wherever they're at. Sitting on a tarmac with a Cessna 182 behind them, of course. And some of the people, the names that are coming up are names that are known and names that are in our history books. General Petraeus is one of our most recent retired 4-star generals from the military. And he was the one who ran the Afghanistan and Iraq war and was in charge of 1st Air Force, which is a huge component of the Air Force. And he was in charge of all. You think of World War II, MacArthur. He was in charge of all U.S. forces, not just Army, Navy, whatever. All forces. He's an Army guy. and he's going to be a guest speaker. I really look forward to listening to him. And there's the first female Black fighter pilot. There are a number of 2, 3, and 4-star generals, or at least 2 and 3-star generals that are going to be there. I'm not sure how many will offer question and answer periods at the end. I guess it all depends on their availability and their interest in maybe doing something like that. So it's $75 to go. Our squadron is paying for it. We got a grant towards the end of last year from the county, and we're taking that money and we're providing scholarships to as many of our cadets that want to go. I know for our new people that are here, you're not going to be able to go this year because you're not going to be a member by the time it starts. However, it will be going on next year. And this is one of those activities, when you talk to our cadets, they will all tell you this is one of the best things they do. There are 2, 3 activities that we do every year, maybe 4, that the cadets constantly want to do again and again and again. Model Rocketry, Cadet Program Conference, the USS Hornet, and then our emergency services training exercises that we go on to, our camping trips. Those are some of the ones that everybody wants to go to every year. Not everybody can always go because of time and sometimes money, but this year, neither of those should be a factor. It's a 3-day weekend and you're not going to be in school that weekend. So hopefully, you guys get to see or learn about it enough, and it excites you that the Civil Air Patrol is not just sitting back doing nothing during COVID-19. We are busy. Our adult members are still flying in airplanes doing missions. We have different drug demand reduction missions where we do counter drug. They do Border Patrol missions, and our cadet members are still active doing things like our food banks. And then they're also doing a lot of virtual. There's been a lot of things that have come up virtual in the last year. Some of them have been really neat, like Ask an Astronaut, where they'll have a live NASA astronaut that gives a presentation, and then they take questions and answers at the end. So what kind of experience? I mean, nobody gets that from anywhere else. I don't know. I can't see anywhere else. I've done some searching, and nobody offers what we offer. And I think that's part of the best part of our program. How about that? What are the next steps to signing up? So the next steps to signing up, let's see. So the next step is Cadet Great Start, which is next week. I assume that you're on this meeting and you're part of my MailChimp, the email list. That's probably how you found out. If not, if you would put your email address in the chat, your name, well, I already can see your name, but you put your email address in there and I will set you up so you get the announcement about next week, Cadet Great Start. It will be a virtual Cadet Great Start. We did this back in September. It was challenging because there was nothing to go by. I had to make everything up as I went. And now that it's been put together, I can pretty easily redo it. And we had 4 cadets that did this back in September, and all 4 of them are in the program still and succeeding. And you saw the one video of the young lady, Cadet Morales. She's the one that's been in since September. And she was nervous about doing a video. And because she says, she hasn't been in long enough, and, she's really not sure, how she could talk about CAP. And I told her, I said, think about what you've had to go through. You're a young person. I think she's 13 or 14, and she's joined Civil Air Patrol. She's never had a chance to come to a live open house and see us in person. She never got a chance to visit the squadron, and she did 6 weeks of Cadet Great Start with just seeing me and other people presenting material. And then she had to learn, watching YouTube videos, how to march, how to wear her uniform, how to salute. We did practice some of that stuff on video, but she had to learn so much on her own. And it's like, think of that. If you're willing to join Civil Air Patrol during COVID and go through virtual, you are going to be very successful because you're willing to tolerate what I would think is probably the worst case scenario of joining CAP, but also the rewards that you'll get, because by the time we come back to in person, they'll be members for 7, 8, 9 months already and already have a few stripes on their sleeve or on their collar, and they'll be ahead of the curve. And they didn't give up, and they did get to go to some of these activities that were virtual over that time frame. So weekly meetings links are going to be emailed. So when you come in to get a Great Start, you'll be added to we use Microsoft Teams. Unfortunately, we don't get to use Zoom. We use Microsoft Teams mostly because we use Microsoft for everything in Civil Air Patrol, but also because of security issues. You'll be added as a guest to our team, and you'll receive a link to our weekly meeting. There will be weekly meetings for 6 weeks, all Cadet Great Start meetings, and the Cadet Great Start meetings begin at 6:45 p.m. because there is a opening meeting that's all members at 6:30. So you'll receive a meeting invitation to the 6:30 meeting that you're requested to go to, required to go to. It's the all hands meeting. The commander gives announcements, other announcements are made, and then we move from there to Cadet Great Start, and it'll open up to a whole different meeting, and you'll have to close the meeting down and go to the other one. But it works. We do this every week. We have our main meeting, and then the cadets go off to their meeting. The adults go off to their meeting. Sometimes we have a meeting together when we're doing things like safety or emergency services, but we do have our own separate meetings for the cadets and the adults, and there are links to those. Once you become a member, you'll be an actual live member of the team. You won't be a guest anymore. And then when you log in, you'll log in with your official Civil Air Patrol email address and then an account, and that'll get you into the team meeting. The teams are a little challenging at first. A lot of our people in school are already using Teams, but maybe you're not. Maybe some schools are using Zoom or whatever other medium there is. There's a lot of stuff that's out there. Teams does have a lot to offer. It's just a little bit complicated and overwhelming for someone who maybe has never seen it before. So I hope I answered. I saw next steps to signing up, weekly meeting links. There are any questions, you can unmute yourself. We have a number of cadets that are on here. I'm looking at the names that we have on here. Well, we have Lieutenant Day, who is I didn't put it on there, and I apologize, Lieutenant Day. I did yours well before I did mine, and even mine, you could see the stuff was reversed. I didn't even know it was backwards behind me when I was shooting it. The background looked normal to me, but when I look at me right now, I mean, it looks backwards. My name is backwards, etc. So I don't know. Anyhow, Lieutenant Day is our deputy commander for seniors. So like me, he's one of our 2 deputy commanders, and he is in charge of the adult side of the program. We have 20 adults in the program. It's the most we've ever had. And most of those adults are very active in the program, training pilots to become pilots or scanners or observers or whatever, and also doing a lot of important roles in the squadron because it doesn't run itself. Even though we're part of the Air Force doesn't run us. We have to run ourselves, which means we have to have our own person taking care of finance, our own person doing the administrative work, and we all do it for no pay. We all have our own jobs. Some of us own our own companies. Some of us own our own companies and have our own jobs outside of that. And then we also give back to Civil Air Patrol every week for how many hours it's going to be. For some adults, it's not very often because of their job isn't as demanding, and for other people like myself and Lieutenant Day, I know myself, I give about 20 to 25 hours a week just to the Civil Air Patrol, not just to the meetings, but all the administrative work I do in the back end. I have about 9 different jobs. I don't know, maybe it's less than that now, but I enjoy doing it. And if I didn't like it, I wouldn't be here. I've not sworn in for 20 years. I'm just doing it for 20 years. And now when I hit 20 years in October, I'll start thinking of the next 20 years and imagining what that might be like. So also on our call is Cadet Captain DeSilma. You saw his video. He is the cadet commander. So for any of you thinking of joining the cadet program, he will be your boss of your boss of your boss. He reports to me. Under that is Cadet Chief Master Sergeant or First Sergeant Corkwell. First Sergeant Corkwell is in charge of every cadet who is not an officer, which is most of them. Out of 29 cadets, I think at least 20 are not officers. So he's in charge of 20 cadets. And let's see, you have Cadet Master Sergeant Daniels on the call. He did a video. He was on there, I believe. Yes, he was on there. But his mom also did a nice video for us. It's on that link that I gave you. And so did Cadet DeSilma. His mother is not just a mother. She is a aerospace education member because she is a teacher in a public school. And his dad is also a member as a cadet sponsor, which is like a chaperone. I went over this in one of my other videos that I had to delete because it was just too darn long. But his whole family is in this together, which is great because originally it was just him. And then his mom learned about the aerospace education program. And then dad was figuring he's there so often anyways, he might as well just join. And he's been an amazing asset to us. helping out with using his skill set and his abilities, which is what we all do. We all give back what abilities we have. And if we don't have those abilities, a lot of times we have to learn them. That's one of the things I talked about in my video I deleted, was that I was a finance officer for a long time. I had no interest in being a finance officer, but we needed somebody to do it. And I stepped forward and did it, and it actually wasn't that bad. I did it for about 4 or 5 years, and I was successful at it because Civil Air Patrol provided that success to me through the training that I received. It's the same stuff that happens for our cadets. The cadet training is a lot more formalized. It's a lot more rigorous in that it happens every single week. The adults, a lot of it has to do with our own motivation and doing things on our own. But the training is out there if we go for it. With the cadets, you're going to get it all the time, and a lot of opportunities. I'm looking who else is on here. Did I miss anybody? No. So feel free. Any more questions? Are there opportunities in Civil Air Patrol to pursue a pilot's license? I don't know, Scott, are you an adult or a young person? Could you chime up real quick? So while we wait for him to, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn 15 in just a couple days.
Fantastic. So there are opportunities to get your private pilot license as a cadet, absolutely. There's a program, it's called CAP Wings, and the Wings program, it's for cadets who are interested in pursuing a private pilot's license. And this is something that just came out within the last few years. Normally, we would provide opportunities to fly in an airplane, and if you were doing well enough, you could solo an airplane. When I did it as a cadet, I almost soloed. I did what's called a pre-solo. So somebody sat in the plane with me, but did absolutely nothing while I flew the plane from startup to take to landing. So that was a great experience. And we have opportunities in the summer where you can do the same thing for 2 weeks, and then you do have an opportunity to solo, and you do get hours that are worth FAA hours. You need an X number of hours to get your license, ground school and in the air. If you do well at that, I'm not going to tell you in the very beginning you're going to start, pilot school, but if you stay active and you stay dedicated to getting that private pilot license, by the time you're 17 or 18, you could have it. You can't get it until I think you turn 18 anyhow, maybe it's 17, I forget. Because like I said, one of our former cadets is a private pilot, and he was flying the whole time he was in Civil Air Patrol. It's one of the ways he found out about piloting was the flight school next door to us, and his parents took him in there. And I just found out the other day that his mom is so excited about this that she's learning how to be a pilot now. So it's like, great. I mean, this is an opportunity for older people as well. And the adult side, if you're listening and you're a senior member, an adult prospect, there are opportunities to get your private pilot license. I've not seen how they formally plan to do it, but they've definitely said it at least a couple of times that there are plans in the works to help people get their private pilot license. Now, why do we do this? There is a huge pilot shortage in the world. Not just the Air Force is suffering from a pilot shortage, but also the worldwide, there is a pilot shortage. If you go down to, there's a pilot training school down in Merced at the old Castle Air Force Base, and it is all Korean. There's probably about 20, maybe 30 Korean people that are South Koreans that are there learning how to be pilots. They have their own barracks at the base that used to be barracks, their hotel room apartments. And they come here from Korea, and they live here and sleep and eat here and train every single day to get their pilot's license so they can go back to their country and help out over there because there's a shortage there. So because the shortage is there, the Air Force has given us a ton of money. I think they added like $40 million to our budget a few years ago to help train young people to become pilots. And 40 million is a lot. We were able to purchase airplanes. In the state of California, there's 2 airplanes that are dedicated to nothing but instructor training or pilot training for our cadets. One is in Livermore, and the other one's down in Southern California. So you would still be part of our squadron, but on the weekends, you would go over to Livermore and you would be trained how to be a pilot, first doing ground school, et cetera. So I don't know, Chief Corkwell, that we're still doing it because none of our cadets are in it. Cadet Zaya was the one that was going to start the program over there, but at the time there was a waiting list to get in there, and he was so close to getting his private pilot license, he just went ahead and did it on his own, but he was going to go into the Wings program. They've got to be doing it because you're a cadet member, and we get our emails from national headquarters The one we get from our commanding general is called Props, and Props comes out, I think, once a week. And there's been at least 4 or 5 people in the Props newsletter over the last 6 months that have been, showcased that they just received their, private pilot license through the CAP Wings program. And that's great. So there are people obviously still flying, but how are they doing it? I don't know. And of course, COVID, puts a big wrench in the whole thing. But we're seeing the numbers already going down. We're starting to see things start opening back up again. And all we can do is just hope that it goes away sooner rather than later. We were so close to reopening back in November. Our numbers were getting really good. We were at the point we were almost getting ready to start having 10 people per meeting. And then all of a sudden the numbers spiked and we got shut back down again. So right now the numbers are dropping again. It could be a number of things as it passes through the community and people pass it through, and most people are going to be immune. As it passes through people, will become immune to it, and then also people are getting immunizations, etc. And also the social distancing, is I'm imagining, has got to be helping as people are not being anywhere near each other, which in our case really stinks because we are a very hands-on organization, and I miss being there every week with our cadets. When a couple of them came in last week, we did a video there, and it just seemed so empty without all the chatter and everybody running around doing different things. So like I said, I encourage you, still join, live with what it is now, knowing that it's not going to be very much longer. It's not possible that this is going to go much longer just because the statistics of how things are working out. We did get an email this morning from our wing commander about the reorganization or whatever, and I didn't get a chance to read it yet. I was busy preparing for this, so I don't know. But every week we do get an email from our wing estate. So our state medical officer and our state commander, and they let us know what the current reorganization plans are. And in some areas before November, when we almost came back to it, it all had to do with our valley, Central Valley, having higher numbers. But San Diego itself, the numbers were low enough that they were allowed to go back fully. And then I think there was a couple other areas that they had full, they were able to go back to up to 50 members meeting all the time. So there were places that were open. Meetings are normally, in reality, when we do meet in person, they are from 6:30 until 9. We open up at 6:30, which means you need to be there about 6:15. The same thing happens for our weekly virtual meetings. It starts at 6:30, which doesn't mean show up at 6:30. It's just like a job. If your start time is 9 p.m. to do the night shift, you don't show up at 9 o'clock or 9:01. It's lazy. You show up earlier. There's a saying that I learned. It's to be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late. And I've tried to do that in my entire life. Always try to show up early unless something happens beyond my control. But they go from 6:30 to 9. When they're virtual, they're not as long. Like I said in my video, that it's only because there's not as much interaction as there normally would be, and the group is a little bit smaller because of COVID. We're not as many people are meeting. We've had some of our cadets who have left, and they said once COVID is done, they're coming back. They didn't want to do it virtually. Well, it's too bad for them. I certainly miss them. Some of them were doing very well in the program, and when they come back, they're going to find out that, holy cow, these people have passed them up. I'm looking at these names: Chief Corkwell, Master Sergeant Daniels. I don't know where our Master Sergeant Lane is. He's not on here today, but these guys are going to come back and find out that they're 2 or 3 stripes behind him because these guys kept going and promoting. Captain DeSoma promoted and got his Amelia Earhart Award during COVID. It was a little more challenging, but he did it. It was a little more challenging presenting the award as well, because we were not allowed to do it in person like we normally have a huge giant ceremony. But we did what we could. We made it work. And we live with what we get. So I hope that answered your question about the meetings. They are every single week, especially the cadets. Not all the adults come every week just because their job may not entail every week. Yes, there's a place to go to. Maybe you want to put in our actual squadron website so they can go see our squadron website instead of the national one. If you can type that for me, Lieutenant Day, that'd be great. There is a lot of great information on our squadron website, which he is typing right now. And also I sent the link to the Facebook testimonial page when you're done, I'm looking at my other screen over here. When you're done on the testimonials, you can go from there and look at our entire channel. And our channel has a lot of different things. You'll find out when you go to Cadet Great Start, a lot of the videos that you need for Cadet Great Start are up there. So if you want to get a heads up, you can go take a look at that. There's not just testimonials up there, which is a great way to look at it, because these are people who were in Civil Air Patrol. Now you got to imagine, this is only 1 out of 100 that have ever done a video for me, because a lot of them are camera shy. And the one guy I've been bugging for almost 8, 9, 10 years, and he just finally did it, including my daughter. But these are people who are in the program or been in the program, and they want to share back what they're doing. And let's see here. As I look at my, if you go, hopefully it doesn't start a video and we start hearing all this stuff. But yeah, if you go to our channel, which will be part of that, CAP Squadron 50 is the channel. We gotta turn that off, okay. There is a lot of things up there, playlists. I have, oh my gosh, all the national activities that are happening during the summer for new seniors, for new cadets. How do we use Microsoft Teams? Because that can be a challenge. There was some training in there. The history of our squadron and Civil Air Patrol, all about the cadet program, which a lot of you are here for. The emergency services, I got 10 videos in there for emergency services and 19 videos in there for aerospace. Aerospace has got a lot of videos from the model rocketry that we do, and emergency service have videos. A lot of them are slideshow presentations with videos, with audio sometimes, of what we do on our activities. We don't have a professional news crew that follows us around. It's just whatever we're doing, and a lot of the stuff is just people shooting it and turning it in, and we use what we can to help out. We try to get somebody to help out at every activity to take pictures. That's what I did as a cadet. I was a public affairs officer, and I ran around to all these activities with a camera strapped around my neck, taking endless photos. I didn't get to take part in all the activity because I was so busy taking pictures, but it's what I like to do, and I was able to document things for us. We didn't have video back then. So there we go. So the ca146.cap.gov, that is our squadron's official website. And on there, you will find in the middle, it'll be a calendar of events. Like today's event is in there, along with the link to join the meeting. For those that didn't do the Eventbrite way, the link is right there in our calendar. And with the Great Start, when I get that organized, I'm working on it. I've been busy doing these videos. When I get that organized, it'll be posted up there as well. And also the information that Lieutenant Day posted is how to join as a cadet. And when you join, when you come to Cadet Great Start, you have to come to 3 meetings before you can join. Anyhow, that's a rule for both adults and young people, just to make sure the program works for you and that also you work for it. We don't just accept everybody. You would think so, that, you know, we're desperate to have anybody that has a pulse to join, but that's not true. I've as a commander myself, have turned away a couple people over the years just because they weren't a good fit for Civil Air Patrol. And in some cases, they had some background issues. And because we have cadets, we're very cautious. We don't just take anybody who comes in off the street. Everybody gets background checked with the FBI, a very thorough background check. You get fingerprinted, and you also have to go through training on how to be around the cadets, where you can't be in a one-on-one situation. Even virtually, somebody else needs to be there or needs to be recorded so somebody else can watch it. So we're very cautious in how we take care of our young folks and make sure that they're all safe. I don't see anything else. Anybody else want to pipe up, say anything? One of our cadets add in anything that I didn't say? I know we're over time, but that's okay. Thankfully, I paid for Zoom. I can go as long as I want. 30 hours, they say, per meeting. And Lieutenant Day is probably chuckling, saying, yeah, Major Dumke could probably do a 30-hour meeting. I will give a shout out to Lieutenant Day. He's one of the success stories of Civil Air Patrol for the adults that are watching this or will watch the recording. He came into the program, like he said, because his son came in the program. And, you know, if you come in as a parent, a lot of times the parents sit around and watch. And a lot of times they just get so interested in it, they join. like DeSoma's dad did, and a lot of our other parents have joined because their own kid was in the program, and it looked interesting. Or I gave them a little prod and encouraged them to join. And Lieutenant Tay came in with a lot of great skills, and what he didn't realize that emergency services was going to be his baby. He already had plenty of skills, mountain climbing, etc., and he was able to put that together with Civil Air Patrol and make it work, and found out that there was a great love for that, and which was great for me because I've not been able to do the ground stuff as much as I'd like to because of health issues. So it's great to have somebody that I was able to mentor in a program and help take over the emergency services side for me. And that was great. And he's taken on, and he's now teaching other people on a regular basis. It's great to see it. And it's great to know that the program worked well for him. And as I tell people, one of the recordings I had to get rid of was basically me telling adults that the Civil Air Patrol is a great way to reinvent yourself. And it could be as a cadet as well. Maybe you're a cadet looking to do a certain thing in life, like be a pilot, but maybe piloting's not for you. Like you heard my daughter, she said she wanted to be an astronaut. Well, that didn't obviously happen. She decided after flying in the gliders that she didn't want to be a pilot anymore. She liked flying, just didn't want to do it for a living. Okay. And she was going to go on and be an astrophysicist. And she got 3 years through UC San Diego and decided she hated physics, or it was just too much. So she ended up dropping out. And now she's got a degree in linguistics, and she's going to be a speech pathologist. And what does that have to do with Civil Air Patrol? Well, you watched her video. She attributes much of her success in life to Civil Air Patrol. Lieutenant Day, I see your hand up. Feel free.
I'd just like to say I'm pretty excited right now being in Civil Air Patrol. It's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun too. I've met a lot of great people all throughout Civil Air Patrol, leaders from corporation managers to lieutenant colonels from the Air Force, Army, and Navy have all joined this program. Educators, business people, city council members. If you're looking for a link, or if you're looking for a way to rub elbows with successful people for future careers and jobs, it's a good way to do it. But I'm excited right now because we just did something that was unprecedented for Civil Air Patrol throughout the United States, and that was the Emergency Services Academy that we have just started, and it's probably going to go to a national level. And one of the things I took in this was SUAS. So SUAS is a drone piloting program, and each one of our different emergency service qualifications has a set of tasks you have to be checked off on and trained to be certified to do different operations in Civil Air Patrol. So I was able to go to this event for 2 days and get 90% of all those sign-offs completed for training. And now I can pursue what's called a 107 drone piloting and become a mission pilot for drone operations, flying with the state of California, National Guard, and other organizations. So we're looking for cadets to do this kind of thing as well. They can be technicians as well. So lots of great opportunities for new technology in terms of being in the air, photography, and other types of opportunities can lead to great future careers. So thank you, Major Domke, for letting me talk about that.
My pleasure. As I said, it's my pleasure watching somebody come into the program and be successful at it, and just watching them flourish in it. And it's like watching a small bird hatch from an egg and then suddenly becoming a daddy bird and taking care of his own people. So I really like that. I posted our YouTube channel. If you click the link before I get ready to close this thing down, then we'll be ready to exit. And thank you very much for coming, spending an hour and a half, 30 minutes, well beyond what we planned. But for those of you that stuck it out, thank you so much. I see a few of you, 3 of you are still, 4 of you are still on that are not members. So good for you. And I'm going to, this is being recorded, and I will post it. I'll actually send out a link to it to our people through MailChimp. That way, those that could not attend they still have an opportunity to watch it and explore it and see it's different. I did one of these last summer, and it was just me doing a PowerPoint presentation. I think this was much better having people on there besides myself and having some content. As you saw the videos, as we were talking, I was showing slideshow videos during Lieutenant Day's conversation, along with some regular videos of like flying and what it looked like to fly in one of our planes coming in for a landing. That was me. That was taking the video, and I was in the right seat. I was flying the plane up until about the time that I took the video, and then I gave it back to the pilot. But it was a great experience for me. And then, as you saw during the cadet side, I was throwing up some slideshows as well of our activities at the squadron, and then some videos from some air shows that we've been to. And some of that stuff is just absolutely amazing. As you saw that big giant cargo plane, that was a C-17 that came in, and it came in for what's called a short landing. So a short landing is what they do in an airfield out in, say Afghanistan or wherever, where there's not a big mile-long runway to land on, and they have to come to a complete halt very quickly by throwing on full thrust reverse. And if you see that again, and when you watch the video again, you'll see the big burst of air and dust in front of the plane as it backs up. That plane landed in probably less than 500 feet. And to give you a reference of how big that plane is, for those of you who are Avengers fan, that is the plane that they fly in the Avengers, or the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. If you watch that, it's a modified version. It's still a C-17 basically, and it's a big plane, as you see from the inside of it when you watch those shows. So it is a really large, it's not the second largest cargo aircraft in the Air Force's inventory, and it is absolutely amazing and very versatile. And we get opportunities to fly in those sometimes, so hey, think of that. All right, have a good day, everyone. I'm going to end the meeting, and I'll send out information about Cadet Great Start. And everybody, hopefully you're all on my list. You are most welcome. It was my pleasure to serve you today and to talk about our program. And like I said, I really love it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here for 20 years doing it. Just like Captain Lechuga, who's been in almost 20 years. He and I have almost the same number of years of service. And like me, he had a split between one and the other. But either way, it makes up to about 20 years. So it's a great and rewarding experience as a cadet and an adult. Have a good day.